All right, let's do it. I am going to go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. So you should all be able to see this now. So thanks for hanging out for a little bit. Appreciate it. We're going to probably spend 20, 25 minutes together going over this. If you were in my review class, top 3 ways to generate reviews for free relatively recently, you'll recognize a couple similar things. And this is just kind of a spinoff of that one. And that QR code that you see on your screen right now, if you want, you can go ahead and scan that and it will send you over to a page where you can connect with me through my socials and all that kind of stuff and follow through blogs and different classes and things coming up. And that QR code right there is a good example of what we're going to cover today. So with that, let's get started. So first of all, my name is Sam Trimble. I'm coming to you live from El Paso, Texas. So wherever you are in this great country of ours, thanks for joining us. That's a little bit of El Paso in the background there. There are more than just a couple horses and a couple stoplights, almost 1 million people. I graduated from the University of Texas at El Paso. We just lost our basketball coach today to the University of Texas as an assistant, if that tells you anything. But I was a realtor out of college, was lucky enough to have some really cool honors and awards during that time. Became the vice president of an independent title agency here in Texas and New Mexico following that. And then, I've been lucky enough to be a contributor at Inman and started my own social ad agency. And I'm really excited to be a part of West, a WFG company, and working alongside WFG National Title and our awesome clients like Dan with Guaranteed Rates. So that's just a little bit about me so you know who you're talking to this afternoon. So what's the plan? Here's the things that we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about what QR codes are. It's always important to know what you're dealing with before you dive in too much. We're going to talk about why they're important. I'm going to show you how to make your own for free. And then I'm also going to show you what you can do with them once you have created them. So the world is definitely our oyster. So I really believe if you're anything like me, you've probably been seeing QR codes everywhere. We thought they went away and now they are back. I really think that they're the comeback of 2021. A little bit of nerding out background about QR codes and where they came from. They actually were developed in the mid 90s in Japan by a subsidiary of Toyota as a way to not only track parts, but also as a way to help out on the assembly line. I have no clue what they scanned them with since smartphones were obviously not a thing. But little did they know that it would become so huge. And actually, it's kind of a fun fact, just because I'm a nerd. You may not think it's cool, but I do. Toyota had the chance to copyright and create barriers to entry in the market for QR to have their own thing. And they actually decided, no, this could be great for everybody. And so they released the intellectual property, allowing everyone to use QR codes and develop them. But it's basically just kind of a more impressive version of a regular barcode that you're used to at the store. So I was thinking back to when they came out and when we started seeing them. At that time, I was a residential realtor here in Texas doing a little commercial, but mostly residential. And I started messing around with them and tried to use them a little bit. And I think there were several reasons why they didn't really catch on before. One of those being they were kind of clunky to use. They didn't always work. They were kind of glitchy. 2, you had to have a smartphone. And so believe it or not, 10, 12, 14 years ago, not everybody had a smartphone. And a typical flipped camera phone actually wouldn't scan them. Then another thing is you actually had to have an app at that time. You couldn't just open your camera. And so that was another barrier. People didn't know what app to download. And then we were operating on like 1G at that time. So the idea that they're called a quick response and we were on 1G and it would take forever for a page to load, it wasn't really quick response. So I think that's a big part of the reason why they didn't catch on at that time. But some of the reasons why they're back, one of them is pretty obvious. And I love this quote by Napoleon Hill. Within every adversity is an equal or greater benefit. Within every problem is an opportunity. So obviously the coronavirus and the worldwide pandemic brought back QR codes with a vengeance very quickly. And I believe that's a huge part of the reason why they're back. I always use the example of I like to play golf. I like to play Top Golf. And so my dad, who's 79 years old, will sit down at Top Golf and whip out his phone and scan the QR code without thinking twice about it and look through the menu and decide what he's going to order to eat and drink at Top Golf. And that is just to say that's how common they've become. that, you know, I'm not saying he's not tech savvy, but probably not quite as tech savvy as some other people. And he knows exactly how to use it instantly with his smartphone. And that just shows, because of the pandemic, how quickly they have risen back to prominence, because they're super easy to use for everybody. So where and why is there an opportunity with QR codes right now? Obviously, they're back. A lot of people are using them. I almost added a slide to this presentation, and I probably should moving forward, about all the companies that are using them now. But basically, every major retailer, every major car manufacturer, every major restaurant chain in the country is now using them in different ways, shape, or form. And some of them are pretty cool. So I would encourage you to Google, you know, companies using QR codes and look through that and get some ideas based on that. But the first thing is they're touchless. So obviously we all went through a phase where we wanted nothing but hand sanitizer and wipies around us to go with our masks. And again, touchless is very convenient in today's world. They've become very easy to use. They're super quick, which is great because time is of the essence. We are busy. There is a lot going on, especially if you're in the real estate industry right now. And so something that is quick and easy to use is always good. The opportunities for which you can use a QR code are absolutely endless. We're going to go over a bunch of those today and then brainstorm a little bit on some ideas for you and how you could implement them in your business as well. And the last thing, which kind of cool, as a marketer and as a nerd, I love anything that's trackable. I want to see how many people are using it, how many times they're scanning it, what they're doing with it, and you can track everything with a QR code. Which is kind of nice when you send something to someone, so you can know whether or not they've opened it or not, how much time they spent looking at it, all those types of things. So touchless, super easy to use, very quick. The possibilities are absolutely endless, and every bit of it is trackable, which is a great thing in our space. So some of those endless opportunities, you can send a QR code to a PDF file or any file for that matter. You could send it directly to a website. We'll talk about reviews for a moment in a few minutes. You could have it open up a text message instantly with the addressee already populated. You can have it open and pre-populate an email message. You could create an instant contact card, a V card. There's a lot of people around selling these little Bluetooth buttons that you tap your phone against and it opens up someone's contact information instantly. You could do that just as easily, and by the way, for free with a QR code. We'll talk about that a little bit. You could send it to a video file. If you know me or have been in any of my classes before, video is huge for me. It is the second best way to be able to communicate with somebody next to in person. They can hear your voice, they can see your face, and that is a great way to be able to communicate with people, and it sticks out. It's a little more impressive than black words on a white screen in an email, which is what we all use so much. You could use it for Wi-Fi access. So if you constantly have people in your office asking for the Wi-Fi password, you could simply put a QR code on a little stand someplace and say, you know, click for Wi-Fi, and it will pre-populate that password and connect them to your Wi-Fi, just to save a little bit of time. You can also have it instantly open up and create and initiate a phone call to any number that you specify. These, you know, 8 examples or however many 8 examples that are here are literally the tip of the iceberg. You can do almost anything with QR codes. So I want you to go into this with an open mind, start thinking about your business, the things that are maybe a little cumbersome that maybe you could help streamline doing something like this, or the opportunities. And we're going to go through some of those together right now. So one of the first things you're going to want to do, obviously, is learn how to make them. The cool thing is there are a lot of sites online. If you just Google create QR codes, you'll see many that come up. In my experience, here are the 2 easiest, most simple, and best as far as I'm concerned. And again, there is my QR code that I made for this. Whip out your phone, scan it, and you can find my socials there and whatnot, and I'd love to connect with you. It's fun to connect with people from different parts of the country and see what's going on where you are. So 2 of my favorites are flowcode.com and qrcodemonkey.com. I like both of these because both of them, I always say, hey, if it's free, it's for me. And both of them will allow at least 10, if not more, free QR codes before you ever have to pay anything. So I went as far as creating a couple different accounts with different emails so I could really ride that free train at one point. But now I'm a sucker, and I decided I'd go ahead and get the pay version of Flow Code is the one I use the most. But these are both super simple. And when I say simple, I mean simple. This is an example of Flow Code, for example. You can make one at a time, or you can make a bunch of them at a time. You'll name each one. These are some of the things that they could be sent to, Snapchat. If you're on TikTok, more power to you. I'm not on there, but wherever you want to send them, you'll literally type in the website, or you can upload a file here and click create. And that is just how simple it is. It is literally a 15-second process to do it. Flow Code has guaranteed hosting for life. So at the end of the day, I get asked a lot, what happens if it stops working or the service goes down? These are guaranteed to be hosted for life. So at the end of the day, they're not going anywhere, at least anytime soon. So this, again, shows you just how simple it is to create them. A lot of times when I say something's really easy, people are like, well, it may be easy for you, but I don't think it'll be that easy. And trust me, if I can do it, absolutely anybody can do it. So we're going to talk about a few different opportunities with QR codes today. The first one I'm going to talk about, I have an entire class on this. If anybody wants that, I could send you a recording of a previous class, but I have an entire class on generating reviews for free. QR codes is a great way to do it. Now is the time. We are so blessed in the real estate industry right now. There are a lot of transactions going on. We are busy realtors, we are busy lenders, and we are busy title companies and attorneys. There's just a ton going on. So due to the sheer volume, it is a great time to be able to harness the amount of transactions you're doing, turn those into reviews, and be able to leverage those in the future. At the end of the day, your future business currency is your online presence, is your online reputation. So developing, 50, 100 reviews right now, which would not be too complicated, will be your currency moving forward when it comes to your online presence. The second thing I'll say about reviews is the task is to ask. 76% of people that are asked to leave a review will do it. And I see that number going up if you make it easy. So if you were to create a QR code that sends somebody directly to your Google reviews page, put them in reception areas, closing rooms, closing folders. We're a huge fan of folders in this industry for some reason. Put them on business cards. The number one thing I see on business cards on the back is the quote that says, the highest compliment I could receive would be a referral to your family or friends to be of service to them. I think one of the highest compliments I could receive would be a 5-star review on Google. Let these people become raving fans and brag about you. You don't have to do it yourself. So reviews is a huge opportunity right now. We are consumers ourselves. And so I always use an oil change as an example. If I were to Google oil change near me, and 4 places came up, a couple of them had no reviews. One of them had 3 or 4 reviews, 4.5 stars. And one of them had 120 reviews, 4.5 stars. Which place am I going to? It's obvious. I mean, the question is silly. It's so obvious. It is the same thing when it comes to lenders and title companies and realtors and attorneys and law firms. At the end of the day, people are looking us up and they want to know if we can be trusted. So again, 76% of people that you ask to leave a review will do it. And if you make it really easy, like simply scan this QR code to leave a review and help support my business, I think that 76% will go up dramatically. Another pretty fun and simple thing to do with QR codes is to grow your network. There's a couple different ways to do that. Like Dan said, we're starting to get out there a little bit. Depending on where you are in the country, some of us are opening more than others. I'm in El Paso, Texas. We've really started to open up. Everything is kind of back to 100% capacity and all that stuff. So people are getting out and doing networking events again and whatnot. So like I discussed, one of the easiest things to do, and again, I showed you that screen grab of Flow Code, and Contact Card is one of those where you would simply enter your information and it will, whether it's an Android device or an Apple device, quickly prompt them to just click accept on a new contact with all of your information. You make sure when you do something like that with a V card or a contact card, make sure you fill it out as completely as possible. Address, birthday, even if you want, a photo for your contact card. All of those things with one quick scan will go straight into their phone, and with a click of one button, they'll be able to scan it into their phone and add you to their address book. This is another great way, and you see a lot of companies doing this now, to grow social pages. It's very simple to have them sent directly to your Facebook page or Instagram page or LinkedIn page or YouTube, and straight to the page where all they have to do is click like and they can follow you. This is a great way to not only grow your audience, but also grow your authority in that audience. I think a lot of people think about Instagram and Facebook right off the bat. I start thinking about LinkedIn. I'm really bullish on LinkedIn right now. There's a lot going on in that space. Microsoft has invested billions of dollars in development for the future of that platform. And so I truly believe in the professional world that we're in the real estate industry, that is a great place to be right now. There's a whole other class on LinkedIn, but one of the things that I would think about when I'm going to direct someone using a QR code is maybe direct them to my recommendation or testimonial page on my LinkedIn. Ask them, go straight there and give me a quick recommendation for sales and marketing or whatever the case may be. But those are very quick ways to grow your network using QR codes that are super simple, super easy. And again, if we can make something easy, people will do it. Kind of going back to the review thing, the problem in today's world is we do a couple things. We either use a software platform, which some of them are very good. Bird Eye is very good. GatherUp is very good. Get 5 stars. Those are all great ways to get reviews, but they lose a little bit of the personal touch when it's a software program tapping back on your customers asking for a review. Getting a little bit more personal with something like a QR code and asking that person for the review to help support your business is a personal way to do it, but it's also super quick. Oftentimes, if we're not using a software, we'll simply say, thanks so much for allowing me to be of service in this transaction. If you'd leave me a review, I'd love to do it. Well, now the consumer is tasked with something that's going to take a few minutes. You're probably not telling them where to go leave the review. Are you talking about Facebook or Google or Yelp? So by providing a QR code, not only are you trimming that couple minutes down to 10 or 15 seconds, but you're also able to send them directly where you want those reviews to go. I often talk with people around the country about, set a goal for your Google reviews. Once you hit that goal, shift over to Facebook. Once you hit that goal, shift over to Yelp. That's the kind of the priority that I would put those in. But man, if you could harness the amount of transactions going on right now and get yourself to where you have 30 to 50 on each of those reviews on each of those platforms, you will be in absolutely great shape when the market slows down just a little bit. So another thing that we love in this industry, in addition to folders, is flyers. And so oftentimes, not only are we looking for things that are touchless right now, but you can only fit so much on a flyer. So when I'm talking to real estate agents, one of the things that I love to use QR codes for is to show off certain parts of a home. Again, if you have fine art in your office or things like that, this is the same idea. But in a listing, for example, probably it's selling so quick that this won't matter right now. But as the market slows down a little bit, it will. Are those countertops something really special? Is that air conditioning system upgraded to however many SEER and it's awesome with a filtration system? Are there features that you want people to know about? It's super easy to link a QR code either to a flyer about those things, a digital flyer, or to a quick video, which again is my favorite thing to link these to explain that feature of the house. Not only does that create kind of a touchless showing experience, but it also, whether you as the listing agent are at the house or not, people are going to be able to see your face, hear your voice, and have you explain to them things about that house that are really outstanding features. And again, I was in an office not long ago that had a really cool local art collection that they were very proud to support local art in their community. And so they ended up creating a bunch of QR codes next to them that you could scan, and it would tell you all about that individual piece of art in that office. There was one office that even had some really old plat maps that were really cool of famous neighborhoods in that town, and they scanned to that to tell them a little bit about that. So again, the world is your oyster when it comes to that. When you're dealing with rate sheets, whether they're premium sheets or rate sheets or net sheets or buyer estimates or move-in estimates or whatever, there are always questions about those things on those documents. Right? What exactly does this mean? How exactly do I do the math? What does a point mean? How does that work? There is in lies a great opportunity to be able to have QR codes on those flyers that link to videos of you explaining exactly what all of those things are. It turns something that's kind of archaic and physical, like a piece of paper, and it turns it into something from the 21st century, when on that piece of paper, I can quickly scan an image that says, learn more about rates here, and have someone telling me and explaining to me what those things are. One of the biggest things that I in today's world, like Dan was saying and Duncan mentioned and all mentioned, we are slammed. Everybody is busy. There is a ton of business going on. Whether you're a realtor or a lender or a title agent or an attorney, I would be willing to bet that you answer the same 3 or 4 questions every day, a lot of times, to every client. What are those top questions that you are spending a significant amount of time answering? Turn those questions into quick FAQ videos. I have a whole nother class on video and how to create and edit these yourself really quickly and easily too. But turn those into frequently asked question videos, link those to your rate sheet, and people can find the answers to their questions on their own time at their convenience. One thing I will say is, in the industry, we sit back and we think, man, my phone is ringing off the hook. I don't have time to answer all these questions and keep deals moving forward and getting towards the closing table. What people don't understand is, as a consumer, people don't want to be calling you all the time asking questions either. If there's a quick, easy, convenient place that they can find those answers, preferably that is branded to you and your company and your face and your name, they will seek those things out, because those questions sometimes come up at 9 o'clock at night. I don't want to call or email at 9 o'clock, but if I can find the answer quickly and simply, that is going to provide a better experience for me. And we are all about providing better experiences to our clients and customers. The last thing I would say is, whether you're a title company or whether you're a lender or whether you're a realtor, we love folders. Even in 2021, where so many things are digital, we love folders. There's a folder with your closing documents. There's a folder with your listing paperwork, with your buyer paperwork, with your pre-qualification stuff, whatever it might be. Every folder should have, if not one, multiple QR codes asking for reviews, with about me information, and with frequently asked questions. Because it's 2021, but we still are strong in the folder game. So one of the biggest things to tackle in our industry is post-closing client engagement. A couple quick facts. The average American has a real estate transaction every 2 to 5 years. Okay, that is the amount of opportunities we have to be a part of a transaction, 2 to 5 years on average. A long-term relationship with a client takes 8 to 12 touch points. If you had to guess, it's already on the screen, but people always get this wrong. Most of us don't get past the 3rd touch point, and then we wonder why we see someone listing with someone else later on. We see someone closing a deal with someone else later on. It's because in our industry, we're getting better, but we're not great at follow-up. So being able to leverage QR codes for follow-up and come up with more than 3 pieces of content to reach out to people is a game changer. Every 2 to 5 years, each person has a transaction. 8 to 12 touch points, we're not getting past 3. We need content to be able to reach out to these people. So here's a couple quick ideas of where you could throw some QR codes to have engaging client interactions post-closing. I still am a huge fan. I open this drawer. I fit this into like every class I teach. I am a huge fan of handwritten notes. So I still love the idea of seasonal note cards. There's something cool about it because we don't get them very often anymore. But when you throw a QR code on them, linked to a video message to that person maybe, or that group of people, maybe to one of your social profiles that you're trying to build, maybe a giveaway that you're doing, people will scan it and do it. I worked with somebody on integrating kind of a competition into their kind of spring note cards. And the engagement was awesome because it was like, scan here to be entered to win X, right? And they scanned it, and my client could track that, and the amount of engagement was through the roof. So I still love the idea of a mailer with a gift card. Again, here's my little disclaimer: check yourself before you wreck yourself. Every state is different regulatory wise, but I love the idea of sending a mailer with a $5 Starbucks gift card to every closing that I had, for example, in the last year. Just saying, hey, enjoy a cup of Java on me. We could all use one right now. By the way, I would love for you to leave a review. It's the way I'm going to grow my business moving forward. It would mean a lot to me. You're doing a few things there. One, if there was a software company that said, hey, we'll get you genuine reviews, 100 of them for $5 a piece, it would be the steal of the century. So this is going to be the best $5 you ever spent. But 2, because you're giving something of value to that person, just a quick cup of coffee, not only does it release a little bit of serotonin on their end because they got something for free, but they also feel a little bit of a pull to do what you asked them to do. And if you leave a QR code there that sends them directly to where you want them to go, your Google page, your Facebook reviews, there's a very good chance they're going to do it. The response to these is literally through the roof. So that's a great way. And another thing I really like to do in today's day and age where there's so many restaurants all over the country that have been struggling to survive through this pandemic, if you have a favorite restaurant in your neighborhood or in your area, I would reach out to them and say, hey, I wanted to share, you're one of my favorite restaurants. I wanted to share more about you with my clients and my customers. Would you be willing to do, a free appetizer or $5 off or something for my clients and customers? Whenever I have done something like that, I have never had somebody say no. So you're able to support an eatery in your area that's probably having a hard time, and you're also able to give something kind of a value to your clients and customers. So I love the idea of letting people know about one of your favorite local eateries and have that QR code go to a little landing page on your Facebook that has a flyer with a discount to that particular restaurant. Just a way to show some love to some of the people that are having hard times right now. One of the last things I'll touch on is get creative with this stuff. I've seen shoes that the base, the sole of the shoe was a QR code, and people would walk around on beaches in Manhattan Beach, California. Stickers, print ads. We're all doing little print ads, business card size ads in a local paper or in a flyer for somebody's football team or something like that. Throw a QR code on there, make it obvious, and people will scan it. Send them to where you want them to go. That's a lot more dynamic than just a business card in a athletic flyer or something like that program. Display at the storefront. When people walk in, have them scan the code and say, get to know us. Have a little profile video. Send them to the About You page on your website. Counter displays work. It's amazing how often you see those and you think, I wonder who scanned those. Anytime I've placed QR codes on a counter display at any type of business, it's amazing how often they get scanned just by sheer curiosity. Throw them on your swag items. Hopefully we're getting back to a little bit of normalcy and we'll be getting some swag and giving some swag again in person. Throw those QR codes on there and send them to where you want them to go. Closing time is the best time, whether you're a realtor or a lender or a title agent of some type. At closing time, there is a release of serotonin. It doesn't matter what that experience was like, whether it was really difficult and hard and there were some issues, or it was really great. At the time of closing, there is a relief. We are here. We are at the finish line. That is the best possible time to ask for it because the reviews are going to be better and they're going to do it. So those are just a couple things to think about. So I want to talk about just a couple ways to make sure that this actually works for you. If you just start throwing QR codes everywhere, they're probably not going to work very well. So make it obvious. I love to put these little arrows on it and it'll say scan here. Make it very obvious what they need to do. Create some type of a call to action. Good, obvious placement. I'll see random cards where there's all this contact information and then a tiny little QR code down by the contact information that you can barely see. That's probably not the best placement. Make the benefit clear. Are they going to get a discount to your favorite restaurant? Are they going to be entered to win something? Are they going to be able to get information about you? What is it? Make the benefit clear. And then consistency. There's a reason why every shampoo says wash, rinse, repeat. If you're anything like me as a kid, I'd probably sit there and read the back of shampoo bottles. Maybe I was the only one. But wash, rinse, repeat. We just talked about up to 8 to 12 contact points to create a fruitful business relationship. We're not getting past the third. It's all about consistency. Keep doing it. So when you throw a QR code on something for the first time, if it works out awesomely, great. If it doesn't, keep doing it because consistency is key. If you do the work on things like this, I have this slide in almost every presentation. Not only are you awesome, so thanks for hanging out for a little bit, but if you do the work and experiment with these things, the results will absolutely follow. I promise you that. The proof is in the pudding and everything is trackable, so you'll see for yourself that the results are following. So thanks so much to Dan from Guaranteed Rate. We kept it short and sweet. I know how busy everybody is. And thanks to Duncan with WFG National Title for hanging out for a little bit. I appreciate your time.